So for everybody to understand, Windows provide different operating systems. And I'm telling all of you who are not advanced, Windows provide different operating systems. An operating system is like this one. For people who use laptops, Windows provide this one. You see, when you click here, you get so many things, and this is where you put the files and stuff like this. How do I call it? The computer, like people call it a computer, but it's not a computer because there's two different between the hardware and software. So operating system is a software they install on a computer so a person can be able to use it. So there's different operating systems. Some of the operating systems are for laptops, for people to use. And some of the operating systems are for servers. For servers, they are much more stronger because they can do so many things at the same time and because they have big space, big processor, big memory. So in Microsoft, all these operating systems that have been released since maybe they started, NT all the way to here. Currently in preview testing, there's a 2025, which I didn't know. Asaf, now you know. So they always say the best way to do the operating system. Asaf, in these operating systems, which one, if you are tomorrow on your job, you were to install to start configuring. We are going to configure SCVM right now. Which operating system should we use?
Yeah, actually, as we were discussing last time, it's not always advisable to go with the latest, but maybe we can go with the previous to the latest one. Like if we can go with maybe Windows Server 2022, that can work well.
But you can't just make a decision based on what you think. You have to say in features, because they are different in features and services, yes. What they offer is what makes them different. So
yeah, if you suggest, you might find that what you need is in the latest one, then you can go for the latest one.
Which means you never go to the latest one because it's never trusted. You have to go back at least 2 years back. So we are here, we can skip this one and we go this one. This is more reliable. Some companies will be, companies will be here, but this is better. And you see, they range them. They say 2019 to 2018, they made it one window. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Sadat, did you see that one? So they made it one window. So now you have to understand the differences and the features is what you're looking on these servers. And if the feature is not there, and then you tell the organization to install that server, you spend a lot of time installing those servers, and then eventually you realize, oh, this is a Windows 10 Home Edition, not a professional, and because it's a Home Edition, you can't add it on domain. You're going to get fired because you wasted time and resources. Asaf, do you hear that part?
Yeah, you are very right. That's the practice you have to go through first, because if you can recommend something that won't work out after, then that's a grave mistake.
And it's easy.
Yeah.
The question is, and how do you avoid such a research? Because it's so deep and there's chances you're going to make a mistake. How do you avoid it?
Of course, you have to research about it first. So if you need to be, you can also make some consultations to know which one exactly best suits.
Remember, any information coming from you, it's gonna make you promoted or salary increased or fired.
Yeah.
And sometimes they don't just fire you; they fire you and they sue you, and that's why we always buy insurance, because if they sue you for the like 300, 500K, I'm talking about big contracts. I'm not talking about you guys, the juniors. I'm talking about the next contract you're going to start getting. Because if you are getting a contract and they are paying you like 500K for the term of 3 years, which is very doable, it's not a lot of money. Because if you stretch the amount for 3 years, you're not making more than 150K every year, which is not a lot of money, is it not? So, but if you mess up something, they're going to charge you for the entire project, the 500K. So what do you do? In that case, what I normally do, and it has saved me more than once, what I do, I make sure I get the insurance. And if they sue me, I already have the insurance. And my insurance, if it's 1 million, then I know I have my lawyer who's going to run after these guys for as long as he wants, because I have 1 million to spend. And my lawyer will enjoy the job. He will make sure he keep them in the office running because he had the paycheck coming in. And it won't distract me at all because I'll be busy doing other contracts. And there is also high chances that your lawyer may win and you get more money. So do you understand the logic of the insurance?
Yeah.
So always make sure you have insurance, because sometimes you may drive a car without insurance because you think I'm just dropping my clothes to the laundry. But guess what? If you hit somebody, it's a different story. So now we understand what you know. The best way to make sure you avoid the challenges, you ask them, what's the in scope and out scope? What do you want? So I make the decision based on your requirements. If they give you, and you can even ask them, and always make sure you send an email. Never talk to your manager face to face and he gives you the idea on the project or the way to do it. Make sure you have the email, because that email is the email that's going to save you. So you can ask them, according to the environment, which server operating system should we use? Or you can ask them, do we have templates? Do we have images? Do you understand what I mean by images?
No.
Yes, I do. Okay.
What's
An
image?
image is like it's like when you like how you're explaining these operating systems. Normally, we have an image. An image is the one that we use to install that operating system. So it's in a form of an image. Then you deploy it to install the operating system, either in a client computer, that's the desktop or laptop, or on a server.
So always make sure you ask for them. Never download and install something. By the law of the corporations, if you download something and it brings the virus in the company, it's your mistake. And the last person that should do such a mistake is an engineer, and that's you. So you can always ask. If they don't have, then you can say, these are my findings and recommendations. What do I mean? If they say, we don't know which server to use, then you can say, yeah, I can help with that. Let me go there and figure out and see which server. Then you ask yourself first, what is this server for? Because right now, there's two different types of servers. If we install this SVMM, where is it? If we install this one, there is an operating system for the hard bare metal. Asaf, do you understand? Which we call nodes.
Yeah.
So, and once you have a node, that node is gonna host the virtual servers. Let me draw down for you. So, in this case, we have a physical server. It doesn't matter. This physical server could be in your office. It could be in a cloud. It's always going to be a physical server. There is no virtual server at the end of the day. Asaf, I don't know if you get the point I'm trying to make here. Please, guys, ask me if you don't get something. If you are lost, ask me. There is always a physical server. These physical servers are either in your office, in a big room somewhere, or this physical server is somewhere and they work together and they create a cloud. And that's where you guys go and you create AWS accounts. That's where you're doing the Amazon Lex, all those pieces. At the end of the day, they are sitting on a physical server. And that's why they say servers are creating a lot of issues, especially because of AI, because as the AI is much faster, it uses a lot of energy. That means these servers, they're going to need to cool down a lot, which means they're using a lot of water to cool them down. And this is consuming a lot of water in the world. because these servers, they use a lot of energy, and because they use a lot of energy, and not only they use a lot of power of water, they also use a lot of power, electricity. So you can imagine there's electricity here coming in, but there's also big fans to make sure these servers, they don't overheat. So what Asaf is going to do for this contract is designing a private cloud. There's a private cloud and there is a public cloud. A public cloud is like this. It's the same thing. These are the servers sitting somewhere around the world, somewhere in the middle of nowhere. And these servers, what they do, they are all connected together. They are all connected together. And once they connect together, they give you a platform where you say www.amazon.com as an example. If I come here, you always go, let's say I go www.amazon.com. I'm on a server somewhere. There's a server which is responding to me right now. And this server is a physical server. If I say AWS login, AWS, and I say I want to log in right now. If I want to log in right now, there is a server somewhere in the middle of nowhere, which me and you, we don't know where they are sitting exactly. And the reason why we don't know where they are sitting, because it's safety for those servers. Because if you know where they are sitting and you're a terrorist and you hit them, then everybody's going to lose the connection to their information. So the fact that we don't know where these servers are located, it's safer, it's a security level. And secondly, these servers are everywhere. They are in so many places, like say AWS regions. They are in places where they call them regions. And in all those regions, all those servers there, they replicate. What do I mean? They work together. You remember, guys, when we are designing Netflix. Do you remember the class when we designed Netflix, how Netflix works, and you guys tested it, and you saw that you can design Netflix, you can design YouTube Music, you can design all those services. You see now, these servers, these data servers, they are in these locations around the world, everywhere in the world. But the point is, for you, you don't care where they are, because what they did, they just made a platform for you. And once you go on that platform, boom, you are connected to all servers. That's why somewhere in Africa, a guy is going to put a video on, what is Africa? Somewhere here in Africa, Yago is going to put a video here. And after putting a video here, and Asaf, before you know, Asaf is watching a video in North America. That's the same way they work, because it doesn't matter. And Asaf, you remember the CloudFront? Do you guys remember the CloudFront? How the files are transferred from one location to the other so they can be accessible. So all these are servers, and this server, they are so big. Let me show you. If you see how they look like, they will be insane. Let's see if we can get the video. That's how the data centers, that's the servers. Do you guys see them?
Yes, we do. We
Yes,
do.
we
see
do.
them.
This is AWS. Now we are visiting the physical server. This is how some look like. You see how big is the building?
Yeah.
You see, they will be connected. So I used to design these data centers, and I'm going to show you. It's a part of the contract, but it's not as hard as you think. The hard part is not, everybody does his part. And these are the jobs you can know, and you just go apply for the visa and they give you a visa, because they need people who do such a jobs. But as you know, when you don't know things, they are always so hard and so challenging. But once you get figured out, do you understand what are there? The data centers is a group of servers sitting somewhere helping you to access those data. But you can also have a private cloud, or you can have a private cloud, which is this one, where I buy my own server for my company, and then I can now manage these servers myself. Or I can just go on the internet, and then I connect to AWS, and from AWS, all I need is just my laptop, and I'm okay to connect to do everything from these servers. And the difference is, in this case, I pay. Do you understand the logic?
Yeah, but I did know that like you can buy your own server. I used to think it's only the bigger companies like hospitals, banks, so that own those servers. So I didn't know
These
like
servers,
even small business.
Servers are not even expensive. They're not even expensive. Let me show you. So it depends which server, how strong. Server prices. Like, you see, some that's expensive, but you also can get for $200. Like this server 2000, but this could be the operating system. There's a hardware, but there's also an operating system. So when you go in those companies in Africa, especially, you will find a big room with servers like these ones. I'm sure you've all seen something like this. Remember this? Somewhere in a big room?
Yeah.
So these are the servers. And these servers, they come in different forms. Some they stand like this, some they sleep like this, some they are like this. You see, some are flat like this. So you see this in the front, these are hard drives where you put the storage. So there's storage, all this on the front. And this is 1,100, which is not very expensive. But why do you need this? In this case, you don't need the servers anymore. This is old school. And there's disadvantages and disadvantages. The reason why you need these servers, it's because in this case, you are managing everything by yourself, which means you think you're much safer. There is no, people can't hack in your system because they can't steal your information. No, they can still steal your information, because at the end of the day, you're going to end up doing what? You're going to come to the internet. Are you going to do any business that needs no internet? So there's always a need of the internet. So this can be safe. This can be considered to be much safer. But the point is, who is managing it? If the person managing it is really good, he knows cybersecurity, he knows how to do the hardening, the patching, and all those, analyze, scanning, and everything, then maybe you'll be safe. But I suggest I would go for these guys, because this is an organized organization. They have so many resources. Even bigger companies than mine are already there. And for that reason, I will rely on that and make a decision to go there. But more importantly, when I'm using the cloud, I can do anything, any performance. I can use any resource from 0 to 100, 0%. Let's say I'm like using one server. Like I have a server for mobile money. Let's say I have my mobile money in Uganda, and I manage my mobile money like MTN. Or MTN has a server, a physical server they are using. If this server, they can use it they can't go from 110 to 100. Why? In this case here, if this is MTN, they can't do this from 10 to 100. Why they can't do this? Asaf, why?
So you mean these percentages are in form of what?
Of performance. Let's say the traffic. Today, you had 10 people using the mobile money or using the application, the Amazon application, to buy things. And all of a sudden, it's Christmas time. People are coming in the big numbers, and you went from 10% to 90%. Can you afford that here on private?
No, it's no easy. It's no easy with the physical servers. Analyst
private.
was planned early, and you have maybe the way you can do this load balancing, but I'm not sure.
So you have public cloud. Zara, what's a difference between private cloud and public cloud? Anybody can answer.
I think a private is the one that is accessed inside in the company, and the public can be accessed by anyone.
That's very good. Do you all understand the concept?
Yes.
So some companies, they have their servers still. If this company is on this one, they have their private. This we call them, how do you call them? On-site. They have on-site, they have their on-site. And with this on-site, when you connect on-site, if the company decides and say, oh, we have a company, our company is Guakoff, maybe it's Victory University, maybe Makerere. Let's think of schools. Let's say this is a school, and the Makerere University, they have their own servers, which means they have their private cloud. They manage their own server, they do everything on their own. But their performance, let's say something happens in the nearby countries, and for some reason, all the students, now this Makerere University gets to have 70% more of the students they have. Then their environment is going to collapse because the capacity of the servers cannot accommodate the volume. You understand that? So for them to be able to sustain, they need to add in more servers. More servers, which means buying them online, bringing them and configuring them so they can be able to keep up with the traffic, which is so hard. Whereas, instead of doing this, they decided they go to the cloud. They say, we are going to use this, but every time if our services can only provide 10%, if we can only provide 10% here, and the volume comes and we need 40% more, we're going to go in the cloud to get to 40%. So when they do this, that's when they create something called this, like something like they come here, they go through the internet, and they go to the cloud to get 40%. And in this case, it becomes a hybrid cloud. Because now the hybrid is mixed with private and cloud and public cloud. They create a hybrid. Why? Because they are mixed environment. So in most cases in North America, let's say 90% of the companies are in the cloud already. They don't manage this because this is too hectic. You have to do the configuration. You do have to do the patching. Sometimes these servers they die. And when they die, you have to have the warranty to be able to get them fixed. So it's so hectic. The only person who stays on this part is the person who doesn't know there is this part. And the reason why he can't come on this part is because the technology to do this part is so expensive. That's why you see we are charging $70, $80, $100 per hour to do this job. So before Asaf in Rwanda, he was managing the private cloud on site. Asaf, is that right?
Yeah, but again, I'm asking myself, was it really that's a cloud one, or it was just a private that on site?
So it becomes a private cloud because the reason why it's called a private cloud, it could be off grid, but the fact you are still connecting to internet, you have the Exchange server, you have some applications, you have something.
So that's why you include the word cloud?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it can't stand on its own.
Yeah, because most of the time the resources also are from internet.
Also, and I'll give another example. If our employees or this physical server, they're in Kigali, if it's the Makerere, they're in Kampala. But what if we now have some employees working here somewhere in North America and they are going through the internet? How are these people going to get the service? how can they work from home from other countries? They have to go through the internet. There's no option. And in that case, that's why in this case, we get some other servers, we put it in the internet side. Now do you understand why it became a private cloud?
Yeah.
But the good thing with the private cloud, you can cut off anything to the internet. But how are you going to survive? Which company today can work without having to go to the internet?
It's impossible because mostly the services also even under the
Exactly.
secure,
Like ServiceNow, all those applications, then it's going to be so hard. Are you going to download? Like, it's going to be impossible. I think today it's almost impossible. Then if you want to use your private cloud and have people working from home and all over the world going through the internet, you're going to have to install a server in the internet. How do you call it, this server? This is a DMZ.
So how is it related with like having your private channel in public internet? That's a VPN.
So in this case, you have some applications on the internet, but before those applications comes to you, they present themselves to your server, which is the DMZ. And on the front ending here, this server is having a public IP address, which means connect to the internet. And at the back here, it has a NAT configuration, which points back to the on-prem, which is a private IP address, like 192.168.0. whatever. You get it?
Yeah.
But this part is gone. Why would you go through this stress? This is for somebody who doesn't know technology. There's no reason to do that. So to fix that problem, it's easy. You create a hybrid environment. So in this case, you can say, I will still use my crappy servers here because they are still doing the job. But if the volume comes too much, take other services all the way to the cloud. And to configure that, you configure, do you know how you configure that? So now we are going to understand this part, how you connect this cloud, this private cloud to here. What do we need? We need a couple services here. Which services do we need? Asaf.
We'll need a VPC.
No, VPC will be in your cloud already. But before here, this on a network, yes, you are right. We need a VCP, yes, at the end of the day. But before we think of now we have a cloud here, a public cloud, and we have a private cloud here. And now we want this private to become a hybrid, which means getting the resources here. The services we need. Those services are major 3 services. So it's like.
And that means the cloud is going to host our VM machines.
The cloud already have everything. You remember Direct Connect?
Yes.
What's Direct Connect?
So that's what enables you to link your private cloud to the
exactly.
Public.
And what's the new? How do you call it in Microsoft?
Direct Connect.
A Direct Connect and the AWS.
Direct Connect is in Microsoft. Then for
AWS.
AWS is the VPC I'm talking about.
So in this case, I want you to take it easy. Don't make it too complicated because this is already too easy. They made it so easy for everybody to understand. We have a couple ways to do this. And the first way, there's a direct connect, which has to come between the 2 networks. So configuring. Remember, there's a VPN. So you remember this one, Azure AD Connect. This Azure AD Connect is what you need first. This Azure AD Connect, you're gonna get one of the servers on your own site, then install this AD Connect. Then in the process, you're gonna also configure VPN, and there's different types of VPN. There is, if we come back here, like there's a VPN gateways, which is site-to-site VPN, all over public internet. This route express is like a DNS. So let me take it back a little bit. The most important thing you need is this guy here. This guy, you have one of the servers, you have these servers here, and you pick one of the servers. Remember, one of these servers is maybe, give me an example of these servers. And the first thing when you go in an organization, the first thing you need to know, how many domain controllers, how many DCs do we have? You should know the DCs before anything. You need to know file server. What else do you need to know on-prem Asaf? Assume this is on-prem 100%.
Yeah, I think, okay, let me hope these file servers are the one also hosting the databases. For the
Yeah,
database.
the DB. So you need the storage. Because in the storage, that's when you're going to create the databases, right?
Yeah, and
create the volumes, you create the volumes, then you create the volumes, you map the volumes, you create the databases, and those databases can be through the SQL clusters, right? What else do we need here? So we have DC domain controllers, we have file server for files where people install files. That's when they say work, and whatever. Then you have Exchange. This is Exchange server for the email. This is storage for DBs, like you said. Then what's another server there? There may be some, let me see. There's a bunch of them. There's application server. And maybe these guys, they also have the VMware. Maybe they're not managing these servers directly. They have a private cloud, and now it's becoming a private cloud because they have SVMM or they have VMware, which is obvious, all right? So if we have the VMware, all right, or in exchange of VMware, that is, Asaf, which one would be from a VMware to Microsoft? How do you call that in Microsoft?
VMware?
It's a SVMM, it's Server Manager, the one we are trying to install now.
Yeah, server, yes.
So it creates the environment to create the virtual servers. The same way as in this case, in a VMware, it's called, you would use a vCenter, which is a part of the VMware, you understand?
Yes.
So if that's the case, these are physical servers. These are hosts. So you have host 101, you have host 032, 02, you have host 03. Host 03. These servers, they are working together to serve this purpose of these servers. Because all these servers, they don't necessarily have to be physical servers. These are application servers which are running on these physical servers. And in between these servers, Asaf, we have in vCenter. You've used vCenter before?
Not really sure.
But you know what it does? Let me show you the vCenter. I'm sure you've used the vCenter. There's no vCenter. vCenter, this is where you would manage all the virtual servers. This is it. Guys, don't worry about this. This is too advanced for you. So don't be like, what are we talking about? Let's say, the vCenter. I want to show you where you have the VM servers. So you'll be looking like this one. I'm sure you've seen something like this. So you see, on this point, you have two physical servers. There's EXI1, EXI2, and there's virtual servers on it. And these virtual servers can be domain controllers, can be file servers, can be application servers. Asaf, do you understand this part?
Yeah, I do. So that means a vCenter is just on one of the servers itself.
So the vCenter will be, a vCenter can also run on a virtual server. It doesn't matter. It's always better to run it on a physical server because in case you have to do the back end troubleshooting, but you can also run it on a virtual server. So in this case, we have two physical servers, and these two physical servers, they have more 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 servers. And that's the whole reason why you don't need to buy why companies don't use physical servers anymore. Even if they buy them, they buy a few. There's no reason to have a domain controller running on a physical server. So now you see all the physical servers, and what you're going to be doing at the project is making sure you have this physical server, then you install the vCenter, and then on top of vCenter, you add the VMs. Isn't that easy?
Yeah, it is.
So tell me, which part don't you understand that you need me to? So in this case, this is in a VMware environment. So let's go in Microsoft environment, SVMM. So you understand what you're doing right now. You are going to create a private cloud. A private cloud is when you have different physical servers, you merge them together, then you create VMware on top of it. And in case you want to go into the internet to the public cloud, then you're doing the hybrid. Fiona, what's a hybrid environment?
It has both public and private cloud.
Very good, very good. That's what we call hybrid. If somebody said the hybrid before this time, you'll be like, what is he talking about, right? So Asaf, this is SVMM. It's called Virtual Machine Manager. This version is 2012. You see it?
Yeah.
So as you can see here, it has all hosts, they go in one folder, and inside that host, you can actually have only one server. This guy, he has only one server, but maybe I'm sure it's only one server. So this is one host. And the way they name it, you see the way naming SVMM 2012 VMS. So in this case, if you had more than one, you'd be SVMM, you'd be using the naming convention the company uses.
Good.
Do you understand what I mean by naming convention? What is that?
Yeah, it's like they have the way they name their devices, and you follow that path.
Exactly. So once you have this physical server, then now you see your VMware. Do you see the VMs? There are 7 VMs. You see them? And these are the ones. And they are all running except this one is stopped. And they are telling you how much CPU they are consuming. And they are telling you which operating version they are. They are 64. Today, we don't have 32 anymore, so don't worry about it. And to avoid that, why don't you have to worry about this? Because you don't care about the image. Where image is going to come from? From the organization. If they don't have it, they're going to tell you which operating system to use. And in this SVMM, which is Virtual Machine Manager, if you want to talk to them, you can say, could you please give me the access to Virtual Machine Manager? You can call it SVMM, or you can call it Virtual Machine Manager.
So that's sitting on another server somewhere, and
this is like a vCenter. Virtual Machine Manager is an application that manages all the VM servers, but also can show you connecting to the physical servers. Do you get it?
Yeah, I do.
So let me finish up this one. Then everybody is going to tell us the process from on-prem, on-site, hybrid, cloud, and also talking about a little bit about what's a physical server, what's a virtual server, how do they work together? Can a virtual server exist without a physical server? Can a physical server exist without a virtual server? Can you convert a physical server into a virtual server? Or can you convert a virtual server into a physical server? Those questions. So, Asaf, this is what they are looking for you to do. It's so easy. You just install the SVM manager, or is the operating system. It's going to be the operating system that you install on a physical server. If you want to ask, you ask, but it should be having virtual capabilities. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, virtual capabilities, I do.
Yeah, so instead of installing Windows 8, the question should be like, this is going to be acting as a virtual hosting. Is it this operating system required for this? Then Microsoft, if you go on ChatGPT and you ask, in case you're not sure, so now you can see, good. So any operating system to go on a physical server, it should have this capability. Asaf, you get it? But of course,
so that's the data center.
Yeah, that's a data center. Every physical server should have an operating system that is a data center capability, because it's going to host the VMs. It's going to become a data center.
Yeah, because that means images have got so many different capabilities,
Exactly.
as you said. So that means you go for an image with a data center.
Exactly, and I'm sure they will tell. So if you are looking for 2019 or 16 or 2020, now you have it. There are only 3 these ones. You don't want to go before this year, and you don't want to go above this year, and you don't want to take this year. So you have these options, and I'm sure if you ask them, they're going to tell you it's one of these. But they say preferred. You see this word here?
Yeah, that means 2019 is preferred.
Because it's 3 years, 2 years back. This year out, this is always a preferred one. So now you know it. In a meeting, you'll be asking, do you guys, I'm wondering, so this is a question you're going to have in a meeting. I understand I'm going to be working on a private cloud, which we're going to be using a virtual server manager. Is it already designed? Do we have, which virtual server are we going to, data center operating system are we using? And which question are you looking for?
I'm looking to know if they already have a server established for that service.
Exactly.
If they already have an image with a Windows Server 2019 data center.
And you want them to tell you which is our operating system version. Is it 16, 19, 22? You need to know this. Because if it's 18, they are too far behind, which means you need to do some upgrade.
So,
means,
and I'm sure I'm in position to recommend that, because once they are still working on outdated, I can't say outdated, but aging OS servers, then maybe I would recommend also to go for these ones if it's possible.
Then what if you go and you find the SVMM, some of the data center is 2008 and they wanted to bring 2016 or 19? How are you going to do it?
That will bring in now the upgrade process. That means their servers will be upgraded to those versions.
And that would open up to another discussions. Is it any place? Is it new bare metal? Are you bringing a new hardware? So we add it on our cluster, then we install the new version, then we move the VMware to the other one. And in this case, there's also high availability features. Do you know what I mean by high availability features? High availability features, I mean like this one. The reason why most companies keep 3 servers, it's because you have more than, let's say you have more than 100. On only these 3 servers, you can have more than 300 virtual servers, VMs. Okay? But all these VMs, they are sitting on 3 physical servers. And you have to design your environment that these 3 physical servers, you have to make sure that your environment, these 3 physical servers, in case one dies, the 2 can take the volume. That's what we call high availability. So in case some crazy person, they just hired Linda, and they told her to go and pick up something in the server room, and all of a sudden, boom, she hits the cable, and this goes off right away. These servers, they should still run, because they should make sure they can run on these servers. So if the capacity of these servers is 100, they are consuming 70%, 70, let's say 80%, maybe 90% in total. How would you configure those physical servers to handle the volume? How many physical servers do you need? Remember, every server should have a space at least 30%. Is that what you used to do? What do you need at least 30% free space on a memory, on a CPU, on a storage, at all time? Why do you need that space to go for free, which you're going to lose a lot of money?
And you mean storage or memory?
Everything. It doesn't matter. Let's see the computer, my computer right now. If I come here and I do task manager, do you see the screen?
Yeah.
So this is my laptop right now. My laptop is using the CPU by 14%. My laptop is using the memory by 75%. And it's using the disk. I mean, this is not the space that I have on my computer. This is the performance. How busy is it right now? The business. A network going on the internet and coming back, I'm using 1.3 megabytes per second, which is too low. On a disk space, files going on a hard drive and coming back in and out, they are using 2% of this speed available, which the speed which is 0.0 megabytes per second. The memory, which is the computer remembering and releasing something, it goes for these megabytes. And the CPU, which is a processor processing things, every time I click something, there's a process takes place, and the processor is responsible for that. In this case, it's using 17%. And I can see which is eating my computer. Right now, I can tell what is keeping my computer so busy. Teams is using 80% of my CPU, is using 1% of this. You see the breakdown. And Firefox and my emails, all this. And I can decide and say, oh, this guy is taking my memory for nothing, like VPN, this one, let's say maybe Copilot. I can click on it and do right click and say end. It's going to end this task. Like right now, if I click on Teams and I do this and say end, the meeting is going to end. Do you want me to try it?
No, you're going.
Let's try it and see what happens. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that?
Yeah,
we did.
Someone was explaining. Someone was asking you, why did you go alone? Why is it that we stayed online? Then
because I did it on my computer.
Yeah.
If I go back there, all these things are running. If you click on it and end it, it doesn't matter. It's going to stop whatever is going on with that thing. And this is the reason. Even the server does the same thing, but the server processes a lot of things at the same time. So if you come here,
you can share the screen.
Okay, 1 second. So the computer technology is so easy if you try to understand it in an easy way.